Welcome to Networks Professionals.
Today, we're going on a journey. We're going to move way beyond just talking to AI. We're going to learn how to actually command it, shifting from writing simple prompts to engineering truly intelligent agents. So let me ask you something. Have you ever had this happen? You ask an AI a pretty simple question, and it comes back with this super confident answer that sounds absolutely perfect, but it's completely 100% wrong. If you're nodding your head right now, you are definitely not alone. There's actually a name for this. It's called a hallucination. And it happens because of the way these models are built deep down. They're not thinking, not really. They're just predicting the next most statistically likely word in a sentence. They're incredible pattern matchers, but they are not fact checkers. But what if you could take the controls? What if you could steer the AI away from making those kinds of mistakes and guide it towards results that are more accurate, more useful, and maybe even a little bit brilliant? Well, that's exactly our goal today, to move you out of the passenger seat and right into the pilot's chair. Okay, so our first stop is the AI cockpit. Right here, we're going to learn the fundamental controls that let you manage how the model behaves, starting with its creativity. Probably the most important dial on this whole dashboard is called temperature. The best way to think of it is as a knob for creativity. If you turn it down, the AI becomes way more focused, more predictable. But if you turn it up, well, it gets more imaginative and sometimes, a little bit random. And this is where it gets super practical. For tasks that need total precision, think writing code or summarizing a technical document, you're going to want that temperature set low. But if you're brainstorming some wild marketing slogans or writing a fantasy story, that's when you crank that dial way, way up. So controlling the AI's randomness is a great start, but what about the quality of our instructions? I mean, how do we make sure the AI understands not just what we want, but the specific style we want it in? This brings us to two really fundamental techniques. Now, what most of us do most of the time is called zero-shot prompting. We just ask a question and kind of hope for the best. But the real game changer is something called few-shot prompting. By giving the AI just a handful of examples of the output you want, you're not just telling it what to do, you're showing it. And trust me, the results are often dramatically better. All right, with those basics covered, let's level up. We're going to explore two really powerful methods to tackle that hallucination problem head-on and seriously boost the AI's ability to reason logically. I mean, this is the core challenge, right? If an AI isn't built on a foundation of truth, how can we possibly ground it in reality? Especially when we need info that's super specific or very recent. The answer is surprisingly simple, and it's an analogy we all know from our school days. You don't ask it to guess from memory. You give it an open book test. This open book method has a name. It's called RAG, which stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. So instead of only relying on its massive but static training data, a RAG system first goes and fetches relevant, up-to-date information from a source you provide, like your company's internal documents or the latest news articles. Here's basically how it works. You ask a question, then the system finds the exact documents that contain the answer. It then injects that key information directly into the prompt, and in a way, it tells the AI, hey, answer this question, but only use these specific facts I'm giving you. It's an incredibly powerful way to fight off those hallucinations. Okay, so RAG pretty much solves the knowledge problem. We can give the AI an open book. But what about logic? How do we stop it from making simple mistakes when a problem has multiple steps? And once again, the solution comes straight from the classroom. You don't just ask for the final answer, you ask it to show its work. This technique is called chain of thought prompting. By adding a super simple phrase to your prompt, like think step by step, you actually force the model to slow down and break down its reasoning process. This has been shown to dramatically improve its performance on things like logic puzzles, math problems, and all sorts of other complex tasks. So, all these techniques we've talked about, temperature, few-shot, RAG, and chain of thought, they're not just clever tricks. They are the actual building blocks for the future of AI. We are right on the edge of a major shift, moving from just writing prompts to designing entire intelligent systems. Think about it. In the early days, we just asked simple questions. Right now, we're in the era of prompt engineering, where crafting the perfect instruction has become a really valuable skill. But the next step in this evolution is something bigger, called context engineering. See, the prompt itself is becoming just one ingredient in a much larger recipe. The real power in the future is going to be in how you manage the entire context stack. You can picture this stack in 3 layers. At the very bottom, you've got your prompt. That's your core instruction. On top of that, you add your RAG documents. That's the external knowledge base. And finally, you have the conversation history, which basically acts as the AI's short-term memory. Mastering these layers is the new frontier. So why does managing the stack matter so much? Because this rich, layered context is the fuel for the next giant leap in AI, autonomous agents. It's how we finally get to the root cause of hallucination, by giving the AI not just facts, but memory and a real framework for reasoning. Now, an agent isn't just a chatbot, it's a doer. It operates on this powerful loop called react. First, it reasons about a task, breaking it down into logical steps. Then it acts on those steps by using tools. It could be searching the web, sending an email, or even writing and running code. This cycle is what turns a passive assistant into an active partner that can actually problem solve on its own. And that brings us to the crucial takeaway from all of this. We're shifting from a world where we just ask an AI for information to one where we collaborate with an AI partner that can strategize and then execute complex tasks for us. This really leaves us with a final critical thought. As we shift from giving commands to setting goals for these autonomous agents, our own role is going to fundamentally change. The question is no longer, what can I ask it? The question becomes, what can we achieve together?
Thanks for watching.